Hello, I'm Chap Chapley, and welcome to 60 Minutes. On tonight's show, tragedy strikes. A happy family gone in an instant, as Miss Sandals' only child, Sam Sandals, who had severe depression, has committed suicide.
He was my only child. My only child.
So what exactly is depression? What causes it? Who does it affect? And how can it be treated? Here joins us on the set today is mental illness expert Dr. Professor Mark, who will be interviewed by our best 60 Minutes reporter, Paige.
Welcome to the 60 Minute studio, Dr. Professor Mark.
Oh, thank you for inviting me.
Now, the following events of young Sam, who had a severe case of depression and is now sadly deceased, would you tell the audience what exactly is depression?
It's such a tragedy for the mother to lose her only son. Well, depression affects around 15% of Australians and is a major health problem, mainly in teens ranging from the ages 16 to 24. As it says on the Blue Beyond website, depression is a serious condition that everyone who is affected will experience it differently. Some will feel lonely, some will feel sad, and some feel there is no hope that can last weeks, months, or even years.
So do you think it is a possibility that Sam could have had depression because he is lonely, as his mother has said that he has never had any sort of relationships or friends?
To somewhat of a degree. It is hard to prove that, as research shows that there's not just one factor that triggers depression. Such examples are drugs, alcohol, low self-esteem, family history, and even guilt. So young Sam could have been bullied or maybe sad because his father died. As I said, there are many reasons that can trigger his depression that led to his death.
What are the strategies people could use to counteract these risks?
Oh, well, some strategies are living in a happy environment with a supportive family, being socially active, being in a supportive and encouraging relationship, avoiding drugs and alcohol, which causes mood swings. And if you know that you are suffering from depression, it is recommended that you seek professional help, such as a psychologist.
Ah, I see. Now, I've read an article saying that depression is the fourth leading cause of health problems in Australia, and as you said, that is around 15% of all Australians. So, that is about 4 million people just alone in Australia. I have read that the cost of mental illness in Australia is around $60 billion, so that is around $9 billion going just towards depression.
Aha, that is true. And studies shows that it is increasing every year.
But my question for you is for the parents out there who might be worried that their children are suffering from this mental illness. Can you give us some insight into what are some of the signs that they can look out for?
That is a very good question. Some signs or symptoms include lack of appetite, difficulty to concentrate or to make decisions, lack of energy, slow movement, slow speech. The list goes on. You can check it out yourself on the National Institute of Mental Health website. But do bear in mind, not everyone will experience every symptom. Sometimes no symptoms at all.
That makes sense, as according to Sam's mother, she always said that he was always happy and joyful, showing no signs of depression, which got me thinking. Miss Sandals always said that Sam had trouble sleeping. Do you think there was a link between sleep and depression?
Indeed. There is a very strong link between sleep and depression. Studies show that nearly 40% of young people who have depression have insomnia symptoms, causing them to have difficulty sleeping. Some patients say that the lack of sleep started at the same time they had depression. As you can see on this hypnogram, the top is what we call a normal sleep pattern, and the bottom one is what a depressed patient has. As you can see, depressed patients wakes up more around 4:30 a.m. and has longer wake-up periods than the top one.
What does REM stand for?
REM or REM stands for rapid eye movement. As you can see on this diagram, for a normal person, he or she will have a negative skewed REM activity, whilst A depressed patient will experience a sort of steady REM activity throughout the night, meaning that they are stressed, worried, or disturbed, leading to increased breathing, sweating, increased pulse, and eventually the patient wakes up.
Wow, that is really interesting. Now, I do believe that you have a diagram of short and long-term effects of depression to show the audience.
That is right. So as you can see here, this is some of the short and long-term effects of what depression can cause. Now, this is only a small list, but there are many others, and these effects will vary for everyone.
So does depression only affect the one person, or does it affect those around them, such as friends and family?
Yes, it does not just affect the person with depression, it also affects the people around them as well, as they are watching them suffer and do not know how to help. Now, this is where family and friends need to be conscious of their feelings and create a supportive environment for them as they're going through this adversity.
Okay, now another question I must ask you. I have seen on the Global Burden of Disease study of 2010 that most people are dying from chronic disease. Also, the Disability Adjusted Life Year, which is the measure of overall disease burden for non-communicable disease such as depression and diabetes in Australia, is 85%. So do you think depression is a significant health concern relating to these statistics?
According to Australia's Bureau of Statistics, in 2015, 3,027 people have committed suicide due to depression. As there are 15% of Australians who have depression, means that only 0.07% of those people are committing suicide. But the data also shows that the number of suicides have been increasing, as in 2007 there was only 2,227 deaths. Hence that the Global Burden of Disease study of 2010 is right, but the study measures all non-communicable diseases such as depression, but also includes all the other chronic diseases. Thus, depression leading to deaths is not much of a significant health concern, as there is only a few percentage of people die. But since suicide rates are increasing, there's a probability that it will be a significant health concern in the future. I believe this will decrease as there are many helpline services, professional psychologists, new medical treatments. An example would be that scientists have found 44 genes in our system that are linked to depression. So maybe we can cure depression.
Yes, I have heard about that, as a team of researchers involved was over 200 people, and they say it could revitalise modern depression treatment. Now, Professor, for those who may have depression or for those who do not, what would you recommend for avoiding depression or to get out of it?
Well, in my opinion, I know it sounds hard to do, but just smile. A TED Talk on smiling shows that people who smile more often live longer. And smiling helps reduce blood pressure, reduces stress-enhancing hormones, and even makes you look better. If you want to check it out for yourself, go to tedtalk.com and search for the hidden power of smiling for a detailed response. Another thing is, be happy with yourself. Do the things that make you happy. Because in this day and age of the internet, people are always constantly comparing themselves to people who look better than them, to people who make more money than them, to people who have cooler clothes and gadgets. Now, this way of thinking will only make you feel sad. Then you try to meet their expectations and fail, which makes you even more sad. You don't need to focus on other people. The only person you need to focus on is yourself, and try to improve yourself so you can reach those goals in life. Doesn't matter what it is. Doesn't matter what other people think. If you got that burning sensation in your heart, that rush of determination, you can achieve it. So when you look back at your life, you can feel satisfied.
Wow, that is truly inspirational. Well, thank you for joining us, Dr. Professor Mark.
It was my pleasure.
Anyway, that's all the time we have for tonight's show, even though the video only went for less than 10 minutes. Moreover, if you are suffering from any mental illness such as depression, Here on the screen right now are many helplines and organizations that you can call right now. Furthermore, if you want to contribute, please donate to Are You OK Day, Lifeline, Beyond Blue, and Mental Health Week, as these organizations are a worthy cause. And also feel free to donate to Mrs. Sandals' Patreon page to support her loss. And thanks for watching.